Hey you guys, so I'm back with another video, and this video is what is a chosen one? How do you know if you're a chosen one, right? So this is just going to be a quick video. I'm going to do more in-depth videos about it later on if that's what you guys want to hear. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment below and let me know if there are any videos that you would like me to make to answer some questions that you may have or just to help you out. Okay, so what is a chosen one? So we hear a lot of talk about being a chosen one, but what exactly is it, right? So in the Bible, Matthew 22:14, it says, many are called, few are chosen, right? So who's called and who's chosen, right? So all of us have a purpose on this earth, okay? We were born for a reason, and God has given everybody gifts and talents, to use in this life, okay? But many are called, of course, to do the work of the Lord, but then few are chosen. And so what a lot of people believe is that the chosen ones are the ones who actually do the will that they were called to do by God. Okay. But I also believe that chosen ones are ones who, because God created us and he knows and he knew before the foundation of this earth how all of this stuff was going to play out, right? What we were going to face in our life and which gifts and talents we needed to get through this life and to help others get through this life. But I believe that chosen ones are individuals who have a purpose in this life that is great, meaning that it affects many. Okay, like for instance, Moses was a chosen one. David was a chosen one. Esther was a chosen one, right? And we can look at David's life as an example, right? Because when the prophet came to look for the next king that was going to replace Saul, he went to the father and asked the father, being David's father, Jesse, he went to him to find out who was the son of his that was supposed to be anointed king. So, Jesse had many sons. David was the youngest, but the prophet of the Lord didn't exactly know who the chosen one was going to be until he got there and he met the sons. And so he met all his sons, and he had to ask David's father, do you have any more sons? Because he didn't feel the Spirit of the Lord, telling him that any of the other sons were the ones who were supposed to be anointed. Okay, and so nobody thought to mention David until eventually it was said that, okay, well, yeah, I have one more son, but he's not here. And so the prophet wanted him to go bring David to him so that he can see if he was the anointed one. And he, in fact, was, even though he was the youngest and the one that people thought were less qualified, right? So chosen ones are ones who, oftentimes are overlooked, but they tend to go through the most struggle and the most battles because of the purpose. See, the one thing about the enemy is he knows what you're called to do before you even know what you're called to do, right? There's activity that takes place in the spiritual realm, things that we don't even see happening in the physical realm that's happening in the spiritual realm. Okay, so the enemy doesn't know everything about us, but he does know some things about us, which is the reason why when Moses was born, he had already heard the prophecies about what he was going to do and that he was going to be the deliverer of the Israelites out of Egypt. So, of course, Pharaoh tried to kill all of the male babies because he was hoping that he was going to get Moses. Okay, but of course he didn't. So, okay, if Pharaoh tried to kill all of the babies, then obviously Pharaoh was led by a spirit, which was an evil spirit, which was the enemy. So that's what happens to chosen ones. So here are 4 signs. Okay, this is not an exhaustive list of all of the signs, but this is just 4 quick ones, right? To know if you may be a chosen one. Okay. So oftentimes, this is the first one, you may have had a hard childhood, a difficult childhood. Now, this doesn't always mean that you were, that you had to be poor or, or grew up in the worst neighborhoods. You could have come from a very affluent background, but at the same time, you had difficulties in childhood. It's like maybe the enemy was trying to take you out early on. You may have been bullied a lot, or maybe if you weren't bullied, it could have been, I don't know if I can say that on here. It might have been different types of, as a child that you may have gone through that was meant to take you out, make you go crazy, or something along those lines, or turn to things to, to make you feel better. Like some people turn to drugs and, anything that's negative that could snuff out your purpose, right? So oftentimes chosen ones have difficult childhoods. And so that's one sign. Another sign would be that you're often misunderstood, okay? You can say it the nice way, and you think before you even speak and say, okay, how do I say this where I don't offend anybody, and what is the proper way to say this? You try to say it the nicest way, and you'll still be attacked, okay? Or people will be angry with you no matter how nicely you said something to them, right? But this happens a lot and has probably happened a lot over the course of your life. And then even in you going out of your way to try to make sure that you are that you don't offend people, they will still attack you because they feel like, or they may say it's because they don't like the way that you said something, or not. If you said it a certain way that they can't argue about how you said it, they will say, well, I didn't like what this person said. And a lot of times people will then try to take advantage of you because here you are being super nice and just trying to convey the message in a nice way where you're not offending anybody. But then those people feel like that you're a doormat, and so then they want to pull your card or try you. You know what I mean? And they might want to try you, and you may not be one that needs to be tried. However, your heart is right. So you're trying to not offend people. So then you end up in issues with people who are attacking you because for whatever reason, but it's more so spiritual. It's spiritual. Okay. And then when you try to assert yourself and you be direct and just call it what it is, straight, this is what it is and this is what it isn't. Then you have people mad at you for that too. It's like, okay, well, I didn't like the way they said this, and who are they? They think they know everything. And it's like, okay, you can't win for losing, but you're often misunderstood. A lot of times because it's not really about what you're saying or how you're saying it. It's just about the fact that the spirit in you is aggravating the spirit in other people, right? And that's not your problem. So if you know that what you're saying is well intended and it's the truth as you know it. And, this doesn't always have to be you telling somebody about themselves. It could just be a work situation. It could be at school. It could be in your neighborhood or at your church. People, it's not your problem if people are easily offended, as long as you know that you're trying to be tactful in how you deliver certain things. After that, it's on them. Okay. The next thing would be you always knew that you were destined, for greatness. You always knew that you were destined for greatness. You may not have known how it was going to come about or what field you'd even be working in, or you may not have even known, but you knew that you were destined for greatness. Many of you have many gifts and many talents, so you didn't really know which one it was. And that's not to sound arrogant, but you may be an artist where you draw or paint, but then you also are good at music as well, or you're a great speaker, or a great athlete, or a great writer. You may have 3 or 5 talents or gifts that you enjoy doing and that people enjoy, seeing you do, or, that they buy from you or whatever. And so you don't know which one of those things is the thing, right? But you knew that you were destined for greatness at a young age. And sometimes people have told you that from the time that you were small, that you were going to go somewhere, right? So, hard childhood, often misunderstood. Oh, you never truly fit in. Okay, you may have never truly fit in. It's like you could fit in for a season, but then it's like, either the group that you're fitting in with eventually rejects you, or you reject them somehow. And when I say reject, I use the term lightly because it's not like it's rejecting like, oh God, I'm turning this person away, or they're turning me out of the group. It's not that, turning me away from the group. It's not that. But what I mean is it's not something that you can maintain for a long time, certain groups or certain situations. It's like you just never truly fit in. Or maybe in school, you had your core group of friends or whatever, but you just never really could quite fully fit in with the in crowd. And it's not to say that you were, considered a lame or anything like that, but you just... even if you were accepted by some of these people who were popular or whatever, it's like you kind of really didn't mesh with them for real, so it could be that, or even in college or, in the workplace. It's like you have certain people that you're cool with, that you connect with, but it's just like some of the things that are important to a lot of other people, you just see it as just what? It's like, it's not important to you. You couldn't pretend to make it important to you because it's just not, and that's okay. Or, there may be certain things that you were involved in that a lot of other people were involved in, and it was the end thing to do. But at a certain point, it's just you got over it faster than a lot of people probably got over it. Okay? It just something greater was calling you to come out from among them. And no matter how much you tried to go back into the group, it just wasn't your thing. So those are 4 signs of ways to know that you are a chosen one, or that maybe somebody around you is, right? Is 1, you had a hard childhood. 2, often misunderstood. 3, you may have never truly fit in certain circles or environments. And 4, you always knew that you were destined for greatness. Okay. All right. So let me know if you've experienced any of these things in the comments section below. And let me know if you have any questions or any videos that you would like me to make to help you on this journey. Again, this is Tackle Today. It's about, hey, we go through things in life, and if we could just tackle today, our tomorrow becomes a lot easier on this journey to greatness and on this journey to fulfilling our God-given purpose and our destiny in this life. Okay? So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.